Alright, 1 o'clock. It's hard to tell the time again due to the gray sky. Flies aren't too bad today. Got an extra hour in today on here. We got one more. I could technically do 2 more jobs today if I really wanted to. But if I can get the other job done, I'd be happy with that. I'd be absolutely tickety-boo. Just tickety-boo. Turn. Don't crunch anything. So I fixed the flower box, fixed the deck. Well, I thought I fixed the deck, but then plot thickens already. There was another board. Because like I told my client, yeah, I got it. And the one board was 12 feet long, okay? And most of the boards are 8 feet on that deck. There was one board. Don't scrape the bottom. That road got rough from that washout. So one board is like the board's a lot. Well, actually, I need 2 more 8-footers, and I still got a part of a 8-footer left. So I got the right underneath the eave drops is where usually your boards rot, right? And there's 2 that are questionable. They're gonna like get them this year, get them next year, but it's like before I paint, you know, like for the time it takes me to replace the boards, you know, hold off another week of painting might be worth it, right? But I'm gonna tell you something about the boards today. I replaced like 6 or 7 boards, I think, on that deck already, right? And out of all the boards I replaced, that board, yeah, it was an asshole. He was a complete asshole. Every screw was completely seized in. What I do with old decks is I never just put the drill in and try to take them out, because you'll strip the head right away, and then it's a pain in the butt. Now there's a couple of things you can do. If your client is on a really tight budget and they don't care what kind of job you do, you go grab the chainsaw saw, which, just so you know, my pet chainsaw Mini Beast did get fed today. He got fed. It was snowing wood chips again today. Love that little saw. But what happens is when you do the chainsaw thing and you go through the deck, you got to watch you don't nick the other boards that are still good, which is not a big problem, but you got to be mindful of it. But then that means you're going to teeter-totter the remaining boards to bust them out, which is fine if you know the cross beams underneath are completely solid. If not, you could tear them out. And if you tear them out, you've got nothing to screw back into, right? And then you just created yourself a bigger job. So today, I was able to get maybe about half of the screws out. And then it was like, okay, I got to get the chainsaw. So I did it the chainsaw way. I was going to do 6 and 6, 6 foot and 6 foot, because I would have to chop up an 8-footer anyway. But then I thought, well, no, I'll do 4 and 8, because I was able to get the short 4-foot. I don't like having too short of a board on a deck, or you're going to get that over time, right? But the way it was on there, I was like, there was enough to screw to. There was 4 rafters to screw to, or joists to screw to, that I know the board's not going to go wonky on me over time. And by the time it does, I'll be dead and gone anyway, because it's pressure treated board, so they'll probably last another 20 years, right? So I did it that way. It looks good, seamless. Just a little tip for you guys. I got 2 things I got to bring up here. Number 1, when you're putting your board down, make sure that you get the arch to the top. Because if you don't, when you screw everything down, you will have a lip from board to board, meaning a toe grabber, right? So make sure you get the right side of the board flipped. Sometimes there's going to be one side that's going to stick up and there's nothing you can do about it. Just be mindful of it. You know, sometimes you have to shim stuff. I didn't want to get into all that, because, you know, different if you're just building the deck, but if you're not building the deck right away, then, you know, I'm just repairing it. So I had seamless. But here's the question. The question is, how do you insult a tradesman? Okay, this is how you insult a tradesman. I got a skill saw back there. I paid about $45 for God knows how much money that thing has made me. I remember when I bought it, I bought myself one, I bought my dad one, and I bought my brother one for Christmas. And I bought myself one because it's like they were $45 each. I'm like, we get a job out of it. It's already paid for itself, right? And I've gotten, I don't know, 100 jobs out of that sucker. I've had that thing for over 10 years. Original blade still on it. Look at that, nice little table for you. Not metal. But anyway, okay, so the question is, can you cut a straight line with a skill saw? Now, most of you are probably saying, yeah, of course it can. Can you cut right on the line? You know, or leave half the line or whatever, and cut a complete straight line, ripping a board, cross-cutting a board, doesn't matter. I don't care what the cut is. Can you do it? All right, so if you answered yes, that's great. Now here's how I'm going to insult you. Can you cut cross-board, 2x4, 2x6, it don't matter what it is, okay? We're about to separate the men from the boys here. Straight line, of course, without leaving a tear on the end or a burr. Can you do that? Can you do that? I can do that. Can you do that? A lot of people can't do that. Usually they always get like a little thing. They don't know the speed to push the skill saw. And it's not just ram it as hard as you can. You got to catch that little corner just as it falls, or else it'll tear. Right? And then it's on the bottom side, so it don't matter. But if you accidentally cut with the board, the good side on the bottom, now you've got a piece of chunk missing out of the corner, or this little kind of like furry kind of slivery thing hanging out, right? And if you got a really bad blade, yeah, you'll get that. But even with a bad blade, you could usually make a clean enough cut. What I notice is a lot of people can't cut, like, say, a sheet of plywood for long distance, whatever. They can't rip a straight line for, like, whatever. Mind you, there's some people can't even cut a straight line on a table saw. So, you know what I mean? Like, it takes all kinds, right? But, yeah, it's just a little tip of the day kind of thing. When you're cutting, just be mindful at that, you know, especially if it's a short board. Short boards are the hardest to cut. Like, I was cutting, like, boards, like, for under the window box to use as support, about this long, right? And holding a board like that and cutting without, cutting your fingers off. You got to keep your hand back enough for the right? So you have to be able to have the strength to hold that there so that the saw doesn't start binding up on you. If you've ever bind up a blade on a skill saw, you'll know what I'm talking about. It doesn't take much. It has to be a perfect clean cut, right? You won't get a clean cut. Sometimes you don't care, but if it's a spot where you care, you know, there's a lot of tricks you can do. You can get a clamp and clamp a board so you have something to press against, so you get a clean cut, whatever. Because you don't want anything jumping or whatever. Skill saws are quite dangerous, and when they kick back on you, yeah, they can take off body parts pretty quickly. But yeah, no, I was just noticing that there, like, every cut I've made with that saw has always been a nice clean cut. And again, a $45 saw. And it's like clean cuts no matter the length. I cut a 12-foot sheet or 16-foot sheet of plywood, 1/8 inch thick, 16 feet long, and rip it, and still have a straight line for you. There's a trick to it, but you know, you just got to move your sawhorses a bit there. But yeah. And now to really test you, okay, so let's say you can make the clean cuts. Okay, good for you. You can now make the clean cuts. But can you do it with your offhand? I can.